فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون.
نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Dear viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your host, Karim AbuZaid. Another edition of your show, Let's Talk About It. You call in with your questions, 1-800-651-4814. We try to answer these questions for you. Again, the phone number is 1-800-651-4814. This is one way to reach us. Another way is the email. It should be showing on the screen, karim@guideus.tv. And I do have actually a bunch of emails, and if the brothers would allow me to answer those to begin with today would be helpful, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As Muslims, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fashioned Adam alayhi salam with his hands, breathed with his own, breathed in him. Is the Islamic view on prehistoric man, the caveman, and the dinosaur, which scientists support with material evidence, fossils and other scientific evidence? I guess the spirit of question now is crystal clear that our viewer is asking regarding what do we stand regarding the caveman and so forth. Brothers and sisters in Islam, first of all, we need to let you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. And a day with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equals 1,000 years, around. وَإِنَّ يَوْمًا عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ. A day with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like 1,000 years of what you calculate. Now, we're talking about 6,000 years, basically. If we're talking about 6 days times 1,000, that is 6,000 years, around 6,000 years. Now, we need to realize that the last thing which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created was Adam alayhi salam. So animals, dinosaurs did exist. Chimpanzees did exist. Pay attention to this. They did exist thousands of years before the creation of Adam alayhi salam. But this does not mean that there was a human race in existence before Adam. Because we know for a fact that the human race originated from Adam alayhi salam. So many verses. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. O you who believe, be conscious of your Lord who created all of you from one soul. And out of that soul, he made the mate, the wife, Hawa. And out of both of them, all the offspring came about. So we do not entertain the fact that the caveman or dinosaurs existed, fossils existed, but man came in existence towards the end of those 6,000 years, and that's how the human race originated. Another question. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A recently divorced woman who has now accepted Islam wants to get married to a Muslim man. all of her natural born relatives are not Muslims. Who can be her wali? Okay. Can it be her non-Muslim relative, father or brother? In this case, does it have to be a non-related Muslim man, such as the community imam? Who is not of her maharim? Could it be a woman, her non-Muslim mother? So that is basically the question that we have. A non-Muslim woman who has no relatives who can act as her guardians when she get married. Who can be her guardian? First of all, the spirit of the question is beautiful because we know that a woman cannot give herself in marriage without the consent of a guardian. And the guardian has to be a male, not a female. Now, in the case, in the scenario that our sister mentioned, if all the relatives of this woman are not Muslims, then the imam of the community would act as her legal guardian. Another question here, what is the initiation process for a divorce? Get your husband angry. I'm just teasing you. Get him upset. That's how you just work on making your husband upset. That's how you initiate divorce. A lot of the brothers, they come to me and, Sheikh, my wife made me upset and I told her I divorce you. I said, nobody divorces his wife while he's happy. Somebody gonna make you upset. But you're supposed to be in control. So I guess I'm teasing you. The initiation process is the husband saying, I divorce you. But now how can you get him? I hope I'm not answering that question, giving you some tactics in how to divorce your husband. But in general, you should, get him upset so he can say the word, I divorce you. But this is not the right thing to do. Remember, brothers and sisters in Islam, every day Satan crowns a jinni for succeeding in separating a husband and wife. So anytime there is a divorce, this is an addition, a success, added success to the achievement of Satan. طيب, if a woman wants to initiate the divorce process, the steps are different? Oh, I see. Now I'm getting it. I should have read that. Okay, basically, if the husband divorces, then he just have to pronounce the word, I divorce you. But if the woman wants to end the relationship, this is called khul'ah or khul'ah, meaning the wife is requesting to nullify the marriage contract. And in return, she compromises whatever rights she has, financial rights, and also she returns whatever dowry were given to her. But she has to go to a legal judge, Islamic judge. In this case would be the imam of the masjid, and the imam has to notify the husband, and he has to address him and see if he can actually voluntarily divorce the woman. Another question here, I'm sorry, I have to give consent because I received a lot of complaints about me ignoring emails and focusing on phone calls. Apology to the brothers and sisters who are calling and I'm not picking up on them. Nothing, no hard feelings. I just want to finish this at the beginning of the show so we can direct our attention to your phone calls, inshallah. So you call us maybe in 10 minutes time, inshallah, I should be done. Do animals have souls? And what will happen to them in the day of judgment? All right. Yes, animals do have souls, and they die by the soul departing from their body, and they get resurrected as well. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, كما في مسند Ahmad, was passing by two animals who were fighting one another, two sheep or two goats, I believe. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked Abu Dharr radiyallahu an, أتدري فيما تنتطحان? Do you know why they are fighting Abu Dharr? Abu Dharr al-Ghifari radiyallahu anhu, Sahabi Jundub ibn Junada, he said, Allah wa Rasuluhu a'lam. Allah knows best, and probably you have some revelation that can let you. Abu Dharr said, I do not know. That's the word that he actually used. I do not know. لا أدري. قال, then the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, قال ولكن الله يعلم. But Allah knows. وسيقضي بينهم يوم القيامة. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will settle their dispute in the day of resurrection. That goes to brothers and sisters who commit injustice against one another. You think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will settle the disputes of the animals, and He will not settle your disputes with your brother or sister? Dare you think that? قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, والحديث عند مسلم, حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه, لتؤدن الحقوق إلى أهلها حتى يقاد للشاة الجلحاء من الشاة القرناء. You will pay back the injustices which you have committed in this world, to the extent that a hornless goat will receive its right from a horned goat, because it doesn't have horns. It was knocked down but by this horned goat. Allah will settle that. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi, Imam Ibn Kathir compiled Athar Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhuma in tafsir, the last verses of Surah An-Naba, Amma yatasa'alun. Just go and check Ibn Kathir. Try that. Try checking the tafsir Ibn Kathir. The last verse in Surah An-Naba, عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ يَوْمَ يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. On the day of resurrection, every person will find in front of them what they have done in this world, and the disbeliever will say, I wish I am dust. Now, Imam Ibn Kathir, the author of the tafsir, compiled in explaining that particular verse what Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As said. إذا كان يوم القيامة, يعني هو يصح موقوفا على عبد الله, إذا كان يوم القيامة, when the day of resurrection is here, مد الله الأرض كمد الأديم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the earth on the land on which will be the gathering even, like you do a loaf before you cook it, even. Then the animals will be brought in front of the people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will settle their disputes, and then Allah will command them to turn into dust. At this time, the disbeliever, وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ, will say, يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. I wish I am these animals, because the disbeliever now will figure out that he's going to have to go through the process, but he's not going to turn into dust. He's going to go to hell. So he would rather turn into dust. Now, does this dismiss the idea that if you have a bat, if you have a cat and you want that cat to be with you in Jannah? Certainly, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, in Jannah, whatever you wish will be there. So if you have a bat and you wanted that bat to be there, mashallah, we're talking about cats here, huh? Not dogs. You shouldn't be having dogs. All right. I do have a question here regarding an amazing, this morning I was actually discussing this with my community. حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في كتاب الأدب: من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه. Whosoever believes in Allah and the day of resurrection, let him be generous to his guest. And then Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned in one wording of this hadith, فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفَهُ إِجَازَتَهُ أو أَجَازَتَهُ, his reward. Let him render to his guest his reward. قالوا وما إجازته يا رسول الله. What is his reward, O Messenger of Allah? He said 3 days of hospitality. After that, you know, you have the choice to let that person know. But I think the spirit of the question that the questioner is asking, what if the logistics are not going to work? This is someone who's going to stay, for example, in a flat or in a house with the wife of the individual when he goes to work. No, we cannot accommodate that. So the hospitality cannot come at the expense of the law of Islam. That person would have to leave in the morning and come back when the husband returns. He cannot be staying at home with the wife of individual because he's a guest and he's entitled to 3 days. Give me a break. We're not going to do that. Even if he is in law. Ya ikhwa, brothers and sisters in Islam, al-ham wal-maut, the in-laws are death. إياكم والدخول على النساء. Hadith Uqba ibn Amir, I believe, dare you enter into the places where women are. قالوا يا رسول الله, they said, O Messenger of Allah, أرأيت الحم? What about the in-laws? قال الحم والموت. Brother-in-law, لا, this is a non-mahram to your wife. I hope we get the question. Okay, I have 2 questions. Praying in the back of a yakun, Y-U-K-O-N, what is that? During work, I'm only able to stand on my knees. I'm able to make sujood. Is it allowed? In the car? Oh, that's a car type. I think we addressed this subject last. We had a question and somehow the question was not very well comprehended. I remember the caller was from New Mexico. I don't recall the name of the brother, may Allah reward him. And somehow, you know, the scenario was that he prays with his wife and kids in the car. He leads them, the wife to his right in the passenger seat and the kids in the back. This is Maghrib because they are traveling and they cannot find a place to pray. Now, the way that I answered that question, I focused on the fact that once it comes to mandatory salah, you have to stand. Standing is a pillar of the salah, is rukn. And we mentioned the evidence, وَقُومُوا لِلَّهِ قَانِتِينَ, Hadith Imran ibn Husayn radiallahu anhuma. But now, what if you're going to run out of time? Meaning the time for the salah. Then khalas, you have an excuse to gather that salah. But you should not plan to gather. You see, the subject here, I'm not giving a license for you to gather. You gathered because you're unable to pray on time, standing. You see, the debate here, if you're going to run out, and I think that's our sister actually who helps us out with Guideus TV brought that issue up today in her email. The issue here, you're faced with 2 options. Option number 1, that you're going to miss the rukn, which is standing in the salah, or missing the salah being observed on time. Now we're talking about somebody who is not ill-intended. He is, mashallah, wants to pray on time and he wants to stand in the salah. But he happens to be in the highway and it's snowing like now. Then I tell you, brother, I would rather have you combine the salah but stand up. This is provided that you're unable to come out and pray. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. I hope we clarified that and I hope it's clear. I'm sorry to the brothers who are calling, but I'm almost done here. Inshallah, a couple of more questions quickly. Is teaching accounts and doing chartered accountant haram in Islam, as job opportunities will be in banks only for CA? No, it is not, because you're teaching knowledge. Probably that person can be used in an Islamic financial institution. So I'm sure the majority of them go to Rabawi, to banks which deal with usury. But your job is you're teaching that knowledge, okay? And it is permissible to teach that knowledge. Can Muslims allow non-Muslims at Hajj, as this will increase job opportunities for Muslims, and also non-Muslims will know more about Islam? Brother, I mean, you know how many people cannot go to Hajj every year from the Muslim world because there is no place? You're getting that? You think we're lacking, we're lacking Hujjaj? It's overcrowded. I don't know what I'm probably not aware of that. It's overcrowded in Hajj. You know how much work the Saudi actually try to prevent people from doing Hajj because of so we don't have a problem with numbers. But the issue has nothing to do with that either. The issue has to do with قول الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O you who believe, إنما المشركون نجس. Indeed, the mushriks, the polytheists, are impure. The impurity here is the impurity of the heart. فلا يقربوا المسجد الحرام بعد عامهم هذا. They should not come near the sacred house. That is why. It's not about job opportunity. It's not. Probably the second point which you brought, that it's a potential for them to accept Islam. No, we tell them accept Islam first and then come and perform Hajj. I don't know, sometimes I get the feeling that we're just trying to recruit people to be Muslims. We don't have to do that. Look, وَأُوحِيَ إِلَى نُوحٍ أَنَّهُ لَن يُؤْمِنَ مِنْ قَوْمِكَ إِلَّا مَنْ قَدْ آمَنَ فَلَا تَبْتَئِسْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. Prophet Nuh alayhi salam spent 950 years calling people to Islam. Only few. وَمَا آمَنَ مَعَهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. Only few believed. Look, Allah revealed to him the following: no one else will believe. Okay, what should we do, Nuh? Let's compromise the message. Let's do a package deal so we get more people believing. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that in the day of resurrection, a prophet will be, every nation will be following their prophet. Like will be Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam will be leading us to Jannah. Now, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said us, رَأَيْتُ النَّبِيَّ وَمَعَهُ الرَّهْطِ. I saw some prophets who have 9 followers. وَرَأَيْتُ النَّبِيَّ وَمَعَهُ الرَّجُلُ وَالرَّجُلَانِ. And I saw some prophets, they have only 1 follower or 2 followers. Here is the interesting piece. وَرَأَيْتُ النَّبِيَّ وَلَيْسَ مَعَهُ أَحَدٍ. And I saw some prophets having no followers, 0 followers. Imagine this, 0 followers. You want to tell me that this Nabi did not convey? He conveyed, but we don't do that. What we need to do, brother or sister, whoever asked that question, we need to convey the message. That's all we need to do, in a kind, nice, polite way. That's our job. Whether they believe or not, that's their business. طيب, we Muslims believe and respect all the prophets. But when anyone disrespects Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is anger in Muslim world and protest around the world. But when people disrespect Prophet Isa alayhi salam, we don't see the same anger in the Muslim community. The brother thinks this is a double standard. I agree. We should always be upset when any of the messengers are not treated in a kind way. But in a way, the people who heard these messengers, like Prophet Isa and Musa and Dawood and Sulaiman, are the people who claim to be their followers. So that's why maybe we're not as agitated as it comes to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, I apologize to the rest of the caller I still have a bunch of emails here, and mashallah, the list is going up. So let me, maybe we'll go at the end of the show and pick up some more emails. Let me pick up some questions here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
Naam. Name, state and question please.
أكرم مصلح.
Naam. And your question, Akram?
Indiana. I have 3 questions. Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead inshallah. I will try to answer inshallah.
Okay. رضى عنه. Can you say it to people, because I heard it meant Allah be pleased with him. Can you say it to religious people?
Okay. Jazakallah khaira. The second question?
And my second question is, what to do if someone keeps on being jahil, and what to say to them?
Jahl? Like what? Ignorant about the religion? They don't want to learn? Okay.
No, يعني in general, Abu Jahl, like, yeah, you know what I mean?
So they say to you, Abu Jahl?
No, they're jahilin, يعني ignorant, yeah, ignorant in general.
Okay. What to say to them?
Yeah, like what to say, like advise them, or what to say to them.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Number 3?
Let me see. What is the difference of Salah, Hanafi, and Shafi'i?
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, how are you, sister? Name and state and question, please.
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good, and I'm calling you from Ohio, and I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
And the one question is about idda for a wife, idda for a wife of a missing husband. So, and how long is this? And the second question is about khula. If husband is a very good person, he's practicing and he does his obligation to his wife. However, the wife would like to divorce him due to some reason, and then she asks her husband, and her husband rejects it, and she goes to the judge, and if the judge rules no, what she can do about this?
Okay, Jazakallah.
And I was just wondering if you could please answer my call, if it's possible, because I'm watching you from online, and my internet is too slow.
Okay, let me take care of your question. Our sister from Ohio, she's asking about the idda for a missing husband. There is no such a thing in Islam called a idda. Idda is a waiting period for a woman whose husband is missing. She doesn't have any news about her husband. Her question is, there is a certain waiting time that the woman must wait. There is no such a thing. But I want to let you know that the question here, is the husband alive or not? Is he reachable or not? Then we need to try to reach him. We need to try to find him. If there is no way that we can come to find where this husband, where he's about and all of this, then certainly we can assume then that he is dead. Then you go to the judge and he grants you a divorce. But there is no such, I tell you, wait for a year or 2 or 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. There is no such a thing. The question is he alive or not? If he is alive, then you have to wait for him and you have to try to find where he's about. If you don't know where he's about and you waited for a long time, you go to the judge and he probably going to try to help you with that. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I want to warn the sisters regarding the subject of khula. I hope I'm not opening the door here. That the women can request to nullify the marriage contract. There is a hadith في Sunan ibn Majah, and the hadith is authentic. أيما امرأة طلبت طلاقا، معنى الحديث يعني عهدي بالحديث طويل، من غير ذي بأس فحرام عليها رائحة الجنة. يعني I'm trying to get the wording but it's not coming. Any wife who requests a divorce from her husband, khula from her husband, when she does not have an excuse, a Sharia sanctioned excuse, then this woman will not smell the odor of Jannah. We do have that hadith. This is a warning to the sisters. It's not just like that. والحديث المختلعات هن المنافقات. The women who request out of the relationship without an excuse, without a sharia, a religious sanctioned reason, are the hypocrites. So I don't want to let the wives and the sisters know that is not something that you should take light. But yet, just to furnish the truth, we know the wife of one of the Sahabi, regarding whom these verses were revealed in Surah Al-Baqarah, she said, Ya Rasulullah, wallahi, I don't have any issue with him. He's a good man. He's a wonderful man. But I'm just afraid that I'm going to fall into, fitna. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to her, give him back his garden. I believe Thabit ibn Qais ibn Shammas radiallahu anhu. And he was one of the people who was giving glad tidings of Jannah. Again, we must balance between the two. Now, talking about Sharia sanctioned excuse, what do you mean by that? We have to explain that. Number one, the husband is incapable physically. And you know what I mean by that? He is not fit physically to be a husband. He cannot have a relationship with his wife. This is one. Because he's unable. Some men are like that. It happens. Because of psychological issues, because they are sick, whatever it is. And they are unable to cure themselves. This wife has a desire, and it has to be fulfilled in a lawful way. And the only way for her is her husband. Now he cannot fulfill that. The physical pleasure. Two, he's unable to support her financially. But now we have to be careful now. We're not talking about a huge mansion here, house, and no. Financially, that is able to provide the minimum. A place to live and so forth. Or he is a fitna to her once it comes to her deen. He doesn't pray, he's not a good religious person, and he can, certainly if she hang around him, she probably going to go astray because of him. That's also another reason. Or he is somebody who is, the youth in a way, that he wants his wife to do haram stuff. Also that. So all of these are Sharia sanctioned excuse. Jazakallah khairan ya ukhti. Barakallah feek.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Naam, name, state and question please.
Yes, my name is Ahmed and I'm calling from Toronto, Canada.
And what is your question, Ahmed?
Yes, I wanted to know how much meals a day did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have?
How much what?
How much meals? Food.
Food, mashallah.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, dinner, yeah. That's my first question.
Okay.
And my second question is, if there's war going on in a country, does Jum'ah become mandatory?
If what again, please?
If war is going on in a country.
War is going on in a country, Jum'ah is mandatory?
Yeah.
What do you mean by war?
Jum'ah mandatory.
Okay.
Like you have to go to Jum'ah if there's war in the country.
Like there is danger for you to go to the masjid?
Yeah, like shooting in like in Syria and Somalia and those countries.
Jazakallah khairan, barakallah feek. We'll answer you, brother Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Now, name, state and question please. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay, let me begin with Brother Akram's saying radiyallahu anhu when it comes to an individual who is alive, your friend. It must be done in context of making dua. You see, when we say radiyallahu anhu, once we talk about the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that I'm pleased with them. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم. The foremost, the predecessor from al-Muhajirin wal-Ansar, look, Allah is pleased with them. That's why I'm saying radiyallahu anhum because it's already established by evidence. But now you come to me and say radiyallahu anni. How do you know that Allah is pleased with me? Allah could be very angry at me. But now you could do it in context of making dua, that may Allah be pleased with you. You could say radiyallahu anhu, that you're asking Allah to be pleased with me, but not affirming that Allah is pleased with me, because you don't know. The question regarding jahil, that's like, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to say thank you very much for your show. I don't have a question.
You're welcome.
But I watch it all the time, and may Allah give you very good deeds. And thank you very much. You're very knowledgeable.
جزاك الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكي. May Allah reward you. جزاك الله خيرا. نسأل الله أن يتقبل منا. بارك الله فيكي. Thank you very much. Okay, someone who is jahil, you know, just nicely, you know when you tell somebody, you know, كفى بالعلم شرفا أن يدعيه كل جاهل وكفى بالجهل إثما أن يتبرأ منه كل جاهل. Normally, Akram, you shouldn't go and say to the people, you're jahil, you're ignorant. You know, nobody likes to be called that. So really your job, and I can tell from your voice, you're probably a young man, and inshallah it will come with time and age, maturity, that you try to motivate them to learn. One of the things that you can tell them, Brother Akram, is what? What is the first word revealed in the Quran? What? What is the first word? I know you know it. What? Iqra. Read. Read. Learn. Why don't you learn your religion? You know? And try to be nice, motivating kind of individual. But you're saying you jahil, and the way that you said it really, even if I want to learn, you could turn me off. You know, well, I'm jahil anyways. So I think it's just the approach. Hanafi and Shafi'i, these are school of thoughts. The Imams existed at different parts of the Muslim world. And they became the icons where people go to and request their opinion on religious issues. So each one of them, established his own kind of learning circle. And they started having students, and they carried on teaching the religious ruling which these Imams, like Abi Hanifa rahimahullah, and Shafi'i rahimahullah, and Malik and Ahmad. So they ended up, that's why we say Ashab Malik, the students of Malik, the students of Ahmad, the students of Abi Hanifa. So they simply ended up establishing a school of thought once it comes to religious issues in Islam. That is the difference between the two. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Naam, name, state, and question, please.
Denver, Colorado, Osman.
MashaAllah, brother Uthman, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
The Uthman I know?
Yes.
Oh, MashaAllah, how are you, brother Uthman? Jazakallah khair. All right. What is your question?
Good. Thank you very much. The question I have is, when it comes buying stuff like clothes, what is israf? Like, how much can be israf? Like, is buying iPhone can be israf?
Buying what again?
Like, if you want to, sometimes in Islam we know that if you buy some stuff that you don't need, it's israf.
Right.
So it's buying iPhone israf or some expensive item.
Uthman. Probably you're going to see that in a second here. I just want to tell you,
okay.
I have an iPhone, okay? You're probably going to see it. I don't know if you're watching or not.
Okay.
Israf is when you buy something which you do not need.
Okay.
When you buy something which you do not use. That is israf. That is extravagance. That you buy, for example, something and you hang on the closet, you know, and you only wear one time. That's extravagant, and that's what we're banned to do. I don't want to promote iPhones, but I found them very practical. All right, Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We'll see you for Jum'ah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, how are you doing?
Good. We would like to invite you as a guest speaker to our masjid. What is the procedure?
Just email me at karim@guideus.tv, and just let me know the organization and what is the function and what type of lecture you want me to do, and I would love to come. Thank you. Jazakallah khairan.
Okay.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Naam. Name, state, and question, please.
Hamdi Hussein, Louisiana. And my question is, if someone backbites someone and he regretted it and made tawbah, does he have to ask forgiveness from the guy he backbited?
Jazakallah khair, Brother Hamdi. Very good question. And I haven't forgotten your question, Brother Ahmed. I will answer this, inshallah. But I'm just trying to get going here with these phone calls. Regarding backbiting, only if you know the person will be tolerant when you share with them the information that you have actually spoke bad about them. Then you can go ahead and do it. If you know that person has a good heart, you know, a lot of people, wallahi, they come to me personally, and I'm not saying that, I'm not praising myself here, but a lot of people come, Sheikh, at one stage, I'm sorry I spoke bad. Don't worry about it, brother, no problem, forgiving yourself. So if you know that person of that type, then you can go ahead and talk to them. But don't go into details. Just say, you know, in one of the gathering, I ended up saying a word by mistake, you know, and about you, please forgive me. You don't have to go and I said about you that you did that thing, and then you went into that thing, and then you got into it and you stole that thing, and you went into that. No, you shouldn't even go into detail. Just say, brother, in one gathering, may Allah forgive me, I ended up saying a statement about you that I found out it's not accurate. Will you forgive me? If the person is really good-hearted, he will. But if you think that person is going to entertain, you know, hatred towards you, or he will become upset, I wouldn't do it. But here is what I would do. I would try to find the same gathering where I backbit that person and address them and let them know whatever I said about this brother was wrong. So try to fix that indirectly. This is number one. Number two, if you're unable to do this, because sometimes maybe those people have moved, of course you can already email them or send them messages or whatever you can do. But if you're unable to do any of that, then try to ask forgiveness for the individual. Allahumma aghfir. Make dua for them that Allah forgives them. Jazakallahu khairah.
Jazakallah khair, shukran.
Afwan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Amanda. I'm from Colorado, and I have a few questions, and I need nasiha about a certain thing first time.
Okay, Sister Amanda, go ahead, please.
My first question is it permissible for me as an eBay seller to auction off my items?
Yeah, auction is...
Second question...
Okay. Auction is permissible in Islam because both the seller and the buyer, in this way I would say the seller and the buyers, when they go into the business transaction, they are expecting an increase. You know the hadith, لا يبع أحدكم على بيع أخيه. In a regular business transaction where there is no auction, you're not supposed to interfere or try to offer a higher price for somebody who's already in process of buying the commodity. Like let's say I'm selling these glasses right now, but it's not I'm not auctioning it, I'm selling it, and already I have a buyer, $10. It is haram, not permissible for somebody to come in and say, I'll give you 12 for it. It's لا يبع أحدكم على بيع أخيه. The same thing if a woman is engaged, no one else should go and try to propose to her. But now when you go into auction, the business transaction by itself defined by that multiple people are the buyers. And it's already established that the one who offers the highest price for the commodity certainly will be the buyer. So you can auction your items. It is permissible. Yes.
The second question is, what is the medium ground between not entertaining Muslims or non-Muslim family members that do not observe hijab and while keeping family ties?
So they are not in hijab while keeping family. They are not Muslims?
For example, is there a medium ground, like in Islam, that says that even though, for example, we are not allowed to entertain Muslims or non-Muslims that are family members that do not observe hijab, and still, what is the way to keep family ties? So, for example, my family, they're not Muslim, okay? But my husband's side of the family, they're Muslim. Both have something in common.
Okay.
The women have something in common. They don't observe any kind of, good modesty.
I got the essence.
And in fact,
I got the essence of your question. You see, once it comes to non-Muslims, the standard is a little bit lower than Muslims. Once it comes to non-Muslims who are, you're telling me they are not wearing hijab. Well, they are not non-Muslims to begin with. Now, when we address non-Muslims, we need to start from the foundation of the religion. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, when he sent معاذ بن جبل رضي الله عنه to Yemen, كما في حديث ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما في الصحيحين, he said, يا ابن عباس, يا معاذ, he said, oh Mu'adh, إنك تأتي قوما أهل كتاب. Where you're going to are people of the book. Let be the first thing that you talk to them about, educate them about, teach them about is La ilaha illallah. It doesn't make any sense that you talk to a non-Muslim about hijab, about not drinking, about not smoking, about having unlawful relationships. It doesn't make any sense. So you must begin with Tawheed once it comes to non-Muslims. But once it comes to Muslims, it's a different ball game. It's a concept of enjoining good and forbidding evil. Now, as long as you're around those people, whether they are the family members of your husband, now let's say that he has a sister who is not wearing her hijab. If she comes to your house, I'm going to remind her to wear her hijab. And let her know, but do this in a kind way, in a nice way. You know, if you don't wear the hijab, get out of my house. Well, we can't do that. No, just try to invite them kindly and nicely. Because it's also a da'wah, but da'wah in that field, somebody who drinks. So it's you see, man ra'a minkum munkaran, you see, it's a different once it comes to Muslims. The issue is enjoining good and forbidding evil. With non-Muslims, an issue of da'wah, calling people to Islam, letting people learn about Tawheed first. But with Muslims, it's a different how. من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده فإن لم حديث أبي سعيد الخدري. So with non-Muslims we use hadith Ibn Abbas, لا إله إلا الله first, but with Muslims we're using hadith Abi Sa'id al-Khudri رضي الله عنه, whosoever amongst you sees evil must stop it, must change it. Then Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم mentioned the hand, then the tongue, then the heart. So as long as you're around that person, I hope you're not going to beat them up. That's not something good, which is the hand. Then you're going to use the tongue. You're going to try to talk to them nicely, kindly, nicely, kindly, nicely, kindly. If they don't listen and they are still doing it, then just separate yourself and minimize the contact with them as much as possible. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Shaykh. I'm calling you from Ohio.
Okay.
And I have a question about some wholesale stores allow you to shop only with the membership. So if you are become a member,
okay.
So you pay certain amount of money. It varies to store. It's about like $60, $70 you pay. And then you are allowed to shop in their store. and then get the items with the discount. So I was wondering if such a membership is allowed.
It is allowed. There is nothing wrong with it. It is permissible. Jazakallah khair. Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Now, name, state, and question, please.
I'm calling from California. I have 2 questions.
Sure.
My first question is there any authentic hadith that if you visit deceased in the grave and you talk to them, is there anything that they can hear us?
No. Jazakallah khair for the question. Our sister from California asking regarding visiting the deceased. Can the deceased hear you? The only place that we know that the deceased actually feel or know about the living outside the grave or in the service of the earth is after the time of burial. After the time of burial. When you bury a deceased and you're about to leave, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam كما في حديث البراء بن عازب رضي الله عنهما الحديث في مستدرك الحاكم, and it meets the requirement of Imam Muslim. الذهبي confirmed that. Hadith is authentic, that the deceased would hear the drumming of the feet of those who buried him as they depart. And also في hadith Amr ibn al-As, when he said to his son Abdullah, after you bury me, stay around my grave as family members for a duration of time, because أستأنس بكم, I will feel your company. That is the only time. The only time that this subject, by the way, is a subject of debate amongst the scholars from the past and the present and the future. It has been always a subject of debate. But you see, once it comes to issues of unseen, we cannot use analogy. What is analogy? That you say, well, if he can hear me at this time, then he can hear me if I go and visit him on a Friday or on a Tuesday or on a Sunday. You cannot do that. Issues of unseen, we must have a text. I mean by text, a Quran or Sunnah. A Quran or Sunnah. Now, my dear sister, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. I want to remind you and remind the viewers, why do we visit the graves to begin with? النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم mentioned كنت قد نهيتكم عن زيارة القبور ألا فزوروها. I banned you from visiting the graves. Now I'm letting you visit the graves. Why يا رسول الله? What is the wisdom يا رسول الله? Why? فإنها تذكركم بالآخرة. It will remind you the living of the hereafter. So we go to the grave, the cemetery, to visit the grave for us living to remember death. Not for the deceased. You can make dua for the deceased in your home, ya ukhti, sister. You think you have to go and identify the grave for Allah? Oh, Allah have mercy, this is the one I want you to have mercy upon. ده مشكلة هذه، مشكلة problem في العقيدة هذه. Allah knows. Allah knows. Allahumma arham abi. Oh, Allah have mercy on my father. Allah knows where my father is buried and where he is. Allahumma arham ummi. Oh, Allah have mercy on my mother. So, we go to the grave for us to remember the akhirah. That's why we visit the grave. Jazakallahu khairah.
Jazakallahu khairah. My other question was, I know Valentine's Day is not a Muslim holiday, but for our intention, we just do it for the kids, the candy to pass out in the class. Is that okay or no? No. That's my daughter used to do. No. Don't do it, ya ukhti, barakallah. Don't try to do halfway solutions. You're actually confusing the kids. You're confusing the kids. Listen, love should be out there every day, between husband and wife, between wife and husband, between son and daughter, son, daughter, father, mother. We shouldn't just, that habit of just identifying one day for each, it's for commercializing the whole thing. I wouldn't. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we're Muslims. We have our own deen to follow. We shouldn't be adopting the ways of non-Muslims. Jazakallah khairah. Barakallah fiki.
جزاك الله خيرا.
وإياكم. Okay, here is our last caller. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Naam, name, state and question.
Am I the next one?
You
Or
are
Maryland?
you are the one right now. Go ahead.
Okay. Here comes.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is two questions. The first question is.
Go ahead, Ya Ukhti, go ahead.
Okay. The first question is there is sometimes when a wife, the man married two wives, but the first wife have many kids and the second wife have few kids, and the husband passed away, and the money that inherited from him was not divided, and sometimes people do not talk about that, especially when we live in Western world, because we have to go by the rule of Islam and finishing up that. You take what your portion of in base of Quran, and that is my first question. How do we declare people living in Western world following the religion of inheritance? When the husband dies, the boy gets 100 and the girls get 50, and wives will get some money. So that's my first question.
Okay, we're going to have to limit it to one.
Question is,
Yeah, let me just answer one question, because that is going to take the rest of the 2 minutes I still have, because we have to sign off in 2 minutes here. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the law of inheritance is miraculous in Islam. The scenario that the sister is talking about here, that there is injustice between two wives, where one of them has more kids than the other, and there is inequality here because the distribution of the inheritance of the husband was not done according to the Sharia, because simply للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين, the wealth of the father would be passed on to the kids. The wives do get a share. If the thumun, 1/8, of the inheritance, but the rest goes to the boys and the girls. And if we follow the law of Islam, certainly will be quality in the deal here. Now, how to establish this? The ideal way is Islamic will, and notarize it. They are available. Your masjid should make this Islamic will available for you, that after you pass away, you want your inheritance to be distributed according to the Sharia, and you place someone in trust of that distribution. Could be the imam of the masjid, or could be an elder in your family. And the law in America recognizes such a procedure, such a process. I want to let you know that. So hopefully we can talk about this in a later time. Very quickly, inshallah, brothers and sisters in Islam, Brother Ahmad asked about how many meals Rasulullah ﷺ ate. I don't know, but sometimes he would not eat because there is no food. And sometimes he only would drink water and eat dates. Brother Ahmad, whenever there is a danger on the life of the congregation, then, Salatul Khawf is there. That's one way to do it. But if I know I'm going to Jum'ah and I'm going to get killed, certainly you're exempt. You don't have to go. Don't forget to support Guideus TV. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, our next edition will be Tuesday, inshallah. Apologies to amount of calls, by the way, is increasing tremendously, and I apologize for not being able to pick everyone who called and answer their questions. Apology also to the sisters and the brothers who emailed. Inshallah, I will begin the show, inshallah, next week with these emails like I done today. But I will take turns. I will just take turns and do so. I love you all for the sake of Allah. Well, Brother Ibrahim here, my producer, is telling me, sign off. Come on, it's time to get off. Jazakumullahu khaira. I love you all for the sake of Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون